Right now, 95% of people will never achieve real wealth in their lifetime. Even if they work 60-hour weeks for 40 years, they'll still retire broke or barely scraping by. Why? Because becoming rich isn't about hard work, it's about strategy. And today, I'm breaking down the exact reasons why most people stay poor, and how you can be the 5% who escapes the trap. You've been lied to your whole life. Work hard, get promoted, retire rich. But the numbers don't lie. The median net worth of Americans under 35 is just $3,900. For those aged 35 to 44, it's $1,300, and that includes home equity. Most of that wealth is locked in houses they can barely afford. Meanwhile, the average person earning $5,000 a year spends $1,000, leaving $000 to save, if they're disciplined. But here's the kicker. Only 39% of Americans have $000 in emergency savings. This isn't about laziness. It's about systemic misalignment. You're playing a game where the rules favor assets, not effort. Elon Musk doesn't get rich by working more hours than you. He gets rich by owning equity in Tesla and SpaceX. The wealthiest 1% don't make their money from salaries. They make it from assets, investments, and ownership. If you're trading time for money, you will never build real wealth. The first step to escaping the 95% is realizing that income won't make you rich. Ownership will. You get a raise, congrats. You go from $0,000 to $0,000 a year. But within 6 months, you've upgraded your car, moved to a fancier apartment, and are eating out twice as much. This is lifestyle inflation, and it's the reason so many middle-class people feel broke despite good incomes. The average American household spends $773 a year on dining out and $968 on cars. Add in $000 phone, $00/month subscriptions, and weekend trips, and suddenly you're living paycheck to paycheck on $0K. I know a software engineer in Austin making $40,000 a year. He drives a $0,000 Tesla, lives in a $500/month apartment, and vacations in Bali twice a year. His net worth? Minus $5,000 in student and car loans. He's rich on paper, broke in reality. Meanwhile, a couple I know makes $5,000 combined, lives in a modest home, drives a paid-off 2015 Honda, and invests 30% of their income. In 10 years, they'll have over $0,000 tax-advantaged, while the engineer has nothing. Wealth isn't what you earn, it's what you keep and grow. 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. 56% don't know how compound interest works. 61% couldn't pass a basic financial literacy test. This isn't coincidence, it's financial illiteracy, and it's robbing people of millions over their lifetimes. Take credit cards. The average APR is 24.5%. Carry a $000 balance. That's $225 in interest every year, money that could have been invested. Or consider the 401k match. 22% of workers don't contribute enough to get the full employer match. That's like turning down free money. For someone making $0,000 with a 5% match, that's $500 a year, or over $0,000 in 30 years with 7% returns. Then there's the biggest blind spot, investing. The S&P 500 has returned 10% annually over the last century. But 60% of Americans aren't invested in the stock market. They're losing 6 to 7% per year to inflation and cash holdings. Financial education isn't optional. It's the foundation of wealth. If you don't understand money, money will control you. Debt is the fastest way to destroy wealth, and Americans are drowning in it. Total household debt hit $7.5 trillion in 2024. The average credit card debt? $400. Auto loans? $0,000. Student loans? $7,000. And mortgages? Over $50,000 on average. That's nearly $0,000 in liabilities before you've even started building assets. Here's the math. If you pay $200/month on student loans at 6% interest for 10 years, you'll pay $44,000. But only $7,000 was the original loan. The rest? $0,700 in interest. Gone, wasted. Now imagine that same $200/month invested. Instead, at 8% returns over 10 years, that's $20,000, and keeps growing. Debt doesn't just slow you down, it reverses your progress. And it's not just high-interest debt. Good debt, like mortgages, still costs you. A 30-year $0,000 mortgage at 6.5%, you'll pay $80,000 in interest, more than the house cost. That's money not going into stocks, businesses, or real estate. Real wealth builders minimize debt or use it strategically to buy income-producing assets. Everyone else just pays for yesterday's lifestyle. 92% of people don't have a written financial plan. They don't know how much they need to retire, how much to save, or what investments to make. They react, not act. And without a plan, you're guaranteed to fail. Think of it like this. Would you drive across the country without GPS? Of course not. But people do it with money every day. A goal like, I want to be rich, is useless. I want $1 million by age 55, invested in low-cost index funds and rental properties. That's actionable. Let's build a real example. You're 30, making 0,000. You save 0,000/month, 15% of income, into a Roth IRA and 401k. With 8% annual returns, you'll have 0,000 by 50. Add in a side hustle making 0,000/month profit invested in dividend stocks. That's another 50,000. Rent out a basement suite for 200/month. That's 0,000 plus in real estate equity in 15 years. But none of this happens without a clear, written plan. You need targets, net worth goals, savings rates, investment allocations. The 5% who win set targets, track progress monthly, and adjust. The 95% hope and pray and stay poor. Many people avoid investing not because they're lazy, but because they're scared. The stock market fell 34% in 2020. Bitcoin dropped 80% in 2022. Real estate crashed in 2008. So they hide in cash, earning 0.5% while inflation eats 3 to 5%. But here's the truth. Safety is the biggest risk of all. From 1980 to 2020, 0,000 in cash lost half its value to inflation. Same 0,000 in the S&P 500 grew to 30,000. That's a 33x difference. Avoiding risk doesn't protect you. It guarantees poverty. The rich don't avoid risk. They manage it. Warren Buffett keeps billions in cash for opportunities. He buys when others panic. Regular investors panic and sell at the bottom. In 2009, the average investor earned just 2.1% from 2004 to 2013, while the S&P returned 7.8%. Why? They sold low, bought high. The solution isn't gambling. It's diversification, time and market, and education. Start small, 0,000/month in an index fund. Automate it. Learn as you go. Let time and compounding do the work. The biggest risk isn't losing money. It's doing nothing. 82% of Americans rely on a single source of income, their job. That's terrifying. One layoff, one health issue, one industry shift, and your entire financial life collapses. But the wealthy don't depend on jobs. They build systems. Take this example. A teacher making 0,000/year starts a 0,000/month tutoring side hustle. She reinvests profits into online courses. 2 years later, it's making 0,000/month, more than her salary. She quits teaching and scales it to 0,000/month. This isn't fantasy, it's happening right now. Real wealth is built through leverage, other people's time, money, or systems. A job trades hours for dollars. It's linear. A business, rental property, or digital product scales exponentially. Consider this. A 3-bedroom home bought for 0,000 rents for 0,000/month. After expenses, that's 200/month cash flow. One property equals 400/year. 5 properties equals 2,000 passive. Combine that with dividend stocks paying 0,000/year and an online course bringing in 0,000. You've got 50K plus in non-job income. That's freedom. The 95% work for money. The 5% make money work for them. You now know the 7 reasons 95% of people never get rich and how to beat every single one. The tools are available to everyone. Low-cost index funds, real estate, side hustles, education. It's not about luck. It's about choices. Start today, build a plan, kill debt, invest consistently, and create income streams. If you found this valuable, smash the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell, because next week, I'm showing you the exact 5-step blueprint I used to go from /bin/sh to 0K net worth. Drop a comment. What's one money mistake you're going to fix this week? Let's build wealth together.